Hey YouTube, hey subscribers, thanks for tuning in. In this video, I want to go over some of the top 10 red flag warnings you can expect when meeting a narcissist for the first time. This list was actually kind of hard for me to prepare because there really are so many different red flag warnings that narcissists give off. It was hard to condense them down to just 10. This list is meant to be interpreted as red flag warnings that occur when you first meet a narcissist. I will probably follow this video up later on with some other situations that are red flag warnings, for example, the workplace, red flag warnings in dating or a marriage type situation, friendships, all of that, because there really are red flags that appear differently according to the actual circumstance. So the circumstance that we're studying today are those red flags that appear when you first meet a narcissist. And I did my best to put these in order of importance, but do know that they can appear in any order. All 10 can appear or only one. So just keep that in mind as we're going through this list. Number 1, the very first thing that's going to tell you you're dealing with a narcissist is their communication style, the way that they communicate. I did do an entire video on this and I will link it in the description box for you. But it's their communication style is going to tell you right away whether or not you're dealing with a narcissist. Your more covert types might be better at this. They might have actually mastered communication, but definitely your overt types are going to display a really improper communication style that will tell you you're dealing with a narcissist. Some of the things that will come out regarding the communication style: they interrupt a lot. They tend to overtalk you and dominate the conversation. They love to have monologues and you're their one single solo audience member. They don't listen, and they generally display signs of not listening or display signs that they don't listen to you, either by completely dismissing or glazing over something you just said. Oftentimes their attention will actually divert away to their cell phone or something out the window. Suddenly when you start talking, their eyes start drifting. But if your eyes start drifting when they're talking, they'll be like, "You still there? You paying attention?" So they're very, very consciously aware when attention is no longer on them. But as soon as you are the one who requires the attention, they become distracted, flustered, they can't focus, they can't concentrate, they start making little excuses for it, like, "Oh, you know me, I'm such a scatterbrain." It's very selective scatterbrainness though. So their communication style is going to tell you a lot. This is the very first thing that I look for, and as soon as I see some of these traits, I'm cautious, I'm wary, and I kind of start to perk up. I know enough now at this point to kind of already know what I'm dealing with, but I don't want you guys to rush to judgment until you have a firm understanding of narcissism. Then you'll be able to make cuts just immediately based on these red flags. So number 1 is going to be the communication style. The second sign that you are dealing with a narcissist when you first meet them is that they are extremely pushy. They're very, very pushy people. They don't respect your boundaries. Oftentimes they will rush you. You will get the sensation that you're being rushed, and it's not a circumstance that requires rushing. Like, it's not an emergency situation or anything like that. It's usually something very mundane that they're rushing you about. I did a video a long time ago called 2-Letter Narc Test, where I discussed an individual who wanted me to go out on a date with them at the very last minute. And my answer was no, and they became very pushy, and then they became angry and aggressive. So right away, that tells you right there, you're dealing with a narcissist. This person just could not handle my no, which actually leads me into the number 3 red flag, which is narcissists do not handle no very well. This could almost be number 1. This list was very hard for me to make and very hard for me to put in order because they're all so important. Narcissists do not handle the word no very well. They do not take being told no very well. You will see their entire countenance shift when you tell them no. When you refuse them something that they feel that they're owed, their whole mood will shift from very friendly and jovial and charming to suddenly very dark, very shifty, very flighty, very uncomfortable. They almost want to leave the room. That's the feeling that I get when I watch a narc respond to my no. They become so uncomfortable that they almost want to get up and leave the room. That's how much being told no affects them. Watch out for that. going back to number 2, if the narc is being very, very pushy with you, very inflexible, and not respecting your boundaries, and you finally tell them no, their whole mood and countenance will shift, and you will detect and get the sense that you've done something wrong in saying no. You haven't. You're just dealing with a narcissist. Number 4, and if you'll start to notice, all of these pretty much are related. There's kind of that common thread underneath them all. The number 4 red flag warning sign that you will see with a narcissist is they are very controlling people. They're very controlling. They make no apologies for it. And they often make every effort to be controlling in any way that's available to be controlling. If there's an opportunity to be controlling in that moment, they're going to attempt to seize it and take it. They never want to not be in that position when they are controlling the person, the situation, the circumstance, the outcome. They're exceptionally controlling people to the point where it is damaging and detrimental to their lives and the lives of people around them. And if you'll notice, that kind of relates back to the pushiness, the communication style. It's all about controlling that person, that event, that environment. Very controlling people. One way this controlling nature might come out is they try to control where you are physically at all times. A perfect example of this would be if you agree to go out on a date with a narcissist and you insist upon driving your own car and they insist upon driving you. That would be a really great sign that you're dealing with a narcissist, and you should not go on that date. You shouldn't even consider it, even with your own car. If you're just meeting someone for the first time, or even if it's the second or third date, and you still want to be in control of where you are at all times, there's nothing wrong with that. That is self-protection. But if you meet someone who is insistent upon you using their method of transportation, that's a person who wants to have control over when you show up, when you leave, and how long you stay. That's just one example of controlling behaviors, one of many, one of thousands, really. So watch out for those controlling behaviors. Any behavior that infringes upon the fact that you are an adult in most cases, any behavior that infringes upon your ability to choose your destiny, really, but choose an outcome for yourself, and that choice is something that you have a right to make. Anytime someone tries to infringe upon that, that's a controlling person who's probably also a narcissist. The number 5 red flag warning sign that you want to look out for is narcissists are extremists who lack critical thinking skills. The word extremist has taken on a life all of its own. It has meanings all of its own now. I'm not using extremists in the sense of what we turn on the news and see. A person has gone and suicide bombed a place for some religious motivation. That's not what I mean by extremist. What I mean by extremist is these people, these narcissists, tend to think in all or nothing terms. So you're having a conversation with them, and what you quickly discover is there is no middle ground with them. They are not flexible thinkers. They're not creative thinkers. They can't think critically. Their mind cannot bend around corners and look up and down and sideways. It's very one track and focused. So in that one track and focused outlook, they tend to become extremists, meaning no one can offer any information counter to what they already believe, and it's usually way on one side or the other. So obviously this can come out politically, but it also comes out socially. It also comes out culturally, and in general, a person can be an extremist about pretty much anything, and the extremism only becomes a problem when it starts to interfere with other people's lives or even the narcissist's own life. So in other words, they're so committed to that one mindset that they refuse to make any changes that might actually improve their life and get them the results that they actually want. They're too committed to that one side or the other. They can't think or even come to the table to discuss a middle ground. So those are going to be what I call extremists, people who lack critical thinking skills and end up on one side of the spectrum or the other. The number 6 red flag warning sign that you're dealing with a narcissist when you first meet them is they love to invalidate you and define you. So what that looks like is you're having a conversation with someone and you make a comment like, "I don't like seafood." And they'll say to you, "Oh, come on. Yes, you do. Everybody likes seafood." So right there, they just told you what you do like, even though you told them what you don't like. Then typically you'll respond with, "No, I really don't like it. I've actually tried it a couple of times and I just don't care for the taste. I can't get into it." Then they'll respond respond with, oh, you just haven't had the right seafood yet. You just haven't had it cooked properly yet. Then you'll respond with, actually, I've tried quite a few different types of seafood, and still to this day, none of them actually appeal to me. I really have tried. They're going to push back again and say, nah, you haven't really had good seafood yet. I'm going to take you to a restaurant where they make good seafood, and you'll see, you like seafood. You'll see, trust me. And then you'll become a seafood lover. So in that short conversation, they've invalidated you and your preference for not liking seafood. They've pushed back and told you that you do indeed like seafood, you just haven't had the right type of seafood yet. And then when you told them, no, I think I've pretty much sampled everything that there is to sample, they then push back and say, and define you and tell you, you will become a seafood lover after I take you to this specific restaurant. So an exchange like that seems innocent enough. It seems lighthearted and it seems playful, and it seems like, oh, come on, permission to exist. Now you're just taking it too far. It seems innocent enough, but what has just taken place in that simple exchange is they just have not believed or honored what you told them to be true about you. And if it starts at seafood, imagine how far it's going to go if that relationship continues. You told them, no, I really don't like seafood. They told you, yes, you do. And then they become determined to make you like seafood, even though you told them you're not interested in it. That would be an example of someone who invalidates you and defines you. So watch out for that when you first meet a person, that invalidation, that immediate invalidation and definition. Sometimes people take a while to invalidate you. They'll ask a couple of questions first and then they invalidate you, but narcissists tend to invalidate you immediately. And I will say this sidebar on the whole topic of invalidation. As a society and as a culture, people actually have really gotten into the habit of this, and I don't think everybody who does it is a narcissist. What I truly believe is that this is how we've been conditioned to respond to people. Someone comes to us with a problem and we've been conditioned to immediately offer a response, and more often than not, it's a response that we read on the internet, we saw on a meme, we saw on a TV show, some canned response that we picked up along the way and put in our back pocket. So anytime someone comes to us with a problem, we just pull one of those out and we think we've done a good thing as a friend, but really what you've done is invalidate that person and make them feel like their concern is not legitimate. So that's something as a culture we've kind of gotten into. So be careful with this one, because a lot of people do it and they really don't mean to, and they're actually not narcissists. It's just habit. No one knows how to just let something sit, or a lot of people just don't know how to say, wow, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to help you with that. They don't know how. They don't like feeling like they can't help. I digress. Moving on, and similar to red flag number 6, red flag number 7 is they love to interview you for a job you didn't apply for. To make this one make sense, essentially what this is upon first meeting this person, they're asking you questions as if you've applied for this certain position in their life and you actually haven't. So I'm going to use an example to make this example make sense. I'm going to use the job or the role being applied for is cleaning person or maid or janitorial staff, something to that effect. So you just meet this person. You're sitting down, you just sat down at the table, and they say to you, so do you keep your house clean? Your response, yeah, I keep my house pretty clean. I do a pretty good job with it. Oh, what do you use when you clean up? Paper towels, cleaning spray, a vacuum cleaner, dish soap. Oh, cool. When you clean, do you get all the baseboards and the corners and cobwebs and things like that? Yeah, I try to. Where are we going with this? And where they're going with this is actually number 8, red flag, which is they start scripting you in their life. The way that this sounds is after you've answered all these questions about cleaning, they will then follow up with red flag warning number 8, which is they then script you in their life. And it sounds like this. Oh yeah, I bet you'd be really great around my house. Yeah, my house needs a lot of attention and care. You'd be real good in there just buzzing away with your little duster and your vacuum cleaner. I can picture you in there already cleaning up my house. And you're looking at them like, I didn't apply to clean up your house. So in essence, they see you and they immediately start drafting you for something you did not try out for. And it will come across as odd, or it should anyway, because they're looking at you as if you are an applicant and as if they're sizing you up for suitability in their life. That should make you uncomfortable. Now, if this is a role that you actually applied to be in, that's what you would expect. You asked to be in that particular role, you made the application in whatever way, and now they're sizing you up to see if this is someone who can actually fill that role. For example, maybe this person is looking for a new hairstylist or barber. And you come to them and say, hey, I'm a licensed hairstylist or barber. And they start asking you a bunch of questions about your experience, your clientele. They want to see pictures, things like that. They're sizing you up for the suitability of the job. Narcissists draft people, script people, and cast people in roles. That's what they do. And it's inappropriate because people are not applicants unless they're actually applicants applying for a job. People are people. And you determine whether or not someone fits well in your life by having conversations, not interrogating them. Just in general conversation, people's mindsets and attitudes will come out. Do I believe you should ask questions of each other? Yes, but not with the intent of seeing, can I hire you for this role in my life? Unless it's actually something you're hiring for, paying money to do. Narcissists are trying to hire people that they don't ever plan on paying or reciprocating with or reimbursing or compensating in any way. They're looking for their next free fill in the blank, and they're just sizing you up and scripting you if you start to sound like you fill that role well. That's exactly what's happening. That's the difference. And they often do it out loud. It's not something you really have to worry about being hidden. They're often so excited about their new find that they're going to verbalize that and they're going to say it out loud. So you don't have to worry about that not coming out. Number 9, red flag warning. Narcissists often brag about conquests and or being mean to others. I did a video a while back called Narcissists Really Don't Get It. I'll link that in the description box for you as well. And essentially it's about a friend, and I say that in quotation marks, who called me to brag about her using someone else's vacuum cleaner without their permission and putting it back. And that's why I put friend in quotation marks, because it's hard for me to call you a friend when that's what you do, and was proud of it, called me bragging. And I told her, you're going to get in trouble. I don't think you should go around doing that. And she thought it was hilarious. They like to brag about mean things they've done to other people. Number 10, and the final red flag warning for when you're first meeting a narcissist, is they presume to know what's best for you and your life, and they're also not experts. I really could have called this red flag their know-it-alls, but they're know-it-alls in particular in regard to you. They know what's best for you. They know what's best for your life. They typically don't have the amount of information required to make those types of recommendations, and they also typically weren't asked for those recommendations. They usually volunteer them, and it all goes back. These are all related. It's all part of them trying to kind of gently mold you into who they want you to be for them, not who they want you to be for you, even though you can't want something for someone else more than they want it for themselves. They are trying to mold you for their purposes. So part of that presuming to know what's best for you in your life, especially upon first meeting, is them kind of casting you and scripting you and placing you in their life and it's kind of like if you bought something from a swap meet. It may not be completely perfect for your life, but you're going to take it home, refurbish it, and you're going to make it perfect for your life. Same thing narcissists are trying to do to you. Part of that is the presumption of knowing what's best for you in your life and having no problems sharing that with you upon first meeting or within the first hour or so of you meeting. So those are going to be our top 10 narcissist red flags for when we first meet somebody. Their communication style is going to jump out at you first and foremost. They're very pushy. They do not take no very well. They're very controlling people. They're extremists who lack critical thinking skills. They love to invalidate and define you. They love to interview you for a job you didn't apply for. They love to script you, cast you, and place you in their life and will do so out loud. They love to brag about conquests or being mean to other people. And finally, they presume to know what's best for you and your life. So I want you guys to pay attention to these things as you're meeting new people, or you could apply this list to people who are already in your life who you suspect of being a narcissist. These are going to be your red flag warnings. They're always there. They're not very good at hiding their true colors. They really aren't. And to me, the one who can hide their true colors and act normal, to me, that's going to be your psychopath. And that's just my non-medical opinion. The person who can hide their true intentions for an extended period of time, that's going to be your psychopath. Your narc can't hide it though, because keep in mind, my personal opinion is that they're just not that smart. They're not intelligent enough to mask it for very long. They're not creative enough to do so. So watch out for these red flags, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, I grant you the permission to exist. Bye-bye.